Hello, today we are going to look at revision of Kcse 2023 Mathematics Paper 1. It encompasses two sections, Section 1 and Section 2, each section carrying 50 marks. Now, Section 1 comprises of 16 questions, a total of 50 marks. Then Section 2 comprises of 8 questions, of which a candidate is supposed to choose 5 questions, a total of 10 marks each, adding up to 50 marks. Now we are going to look at basically what was expected from the candidate in answering this particular paper. Now we are going to start with the question 1, and question 1 requires the learner to evaluate this particular expression here, and you're not supposed to use a calculator during your evaluation. So what it means is that any use of a calculator in this particular question, that means you have violated the instructions, and it means that you will lose some marks from it. So the candidate was being tested on the application of body mass in evaluation. Now, when you look at this particular question, it has the numerator and it has the denominator. So it is good that you distribute your paper into 3 equal sections, so that in the first section, we are going to deal with the numerator. So the numerator says it is negative 13 plus 5 minus 70, then divided by 5. So looking at this numerator, there is no bracket or parentheses, there are no orders, but there is division. That is, you're going to divide 70 and 5. Now when you divide 70 divided 5, you are going to get 14. So it means that this one translates to negative 13 plus 5 minus 14. Continue with the body mass. We can see that there is no multiplication, but there is addition. So it means it is going to be negative 13 plus 5. So negative 13 plus 5, this one gives us negative 8. So it's going to be negative 8 minus 14. We go ahead, there is subtraction. So negative 8 minus 14, this one gives us negative 22. So that is the numerator, and you earn marks for evaluating the numerator like that. Then we go ahead and evaluate the denominator. Evaluate the denominator. Now, in evaluating the denominator, we can see it is going to be 9 minus 14 multiplied by negative 3, then divided by 21. Still following the body mass rule, there are no brackets or parentheses, there are no orders, but there is division. And division is going to be 3 divided by 21. So this one translates to 9 minus 14 times negative. Now 3 divided by 21 translates to 1 over 7. So this one divided by 1 over 7. Now, going ahead, we can see there is multiplication. Multiplication, we can see we have 14 multiplied by negative 1 over 7. So this one translates to 9 minus 14 multiplied by negative 1 over 7. 7 here 1, 7 here 2, which translates to negative 2. So 9 minus 2, this one translates to 9 plus 2, which equals to 11. And that means we have evaluated the denominator. we go ahead and combine the numerator and the denominator. So the numerator you have negative 22 and the denominator you have 11. So by easy division, negative 22 divided by 11, this one translates to negative 2. So that's how question 1 was supposed to be evaluated. We'll go ahead and look at question 2. Now question 2 requires to simplify the expression 3a raised to the power of 2 b raised to the power of negative 3 over, that is 2 raised to the power of negative 1 multiplied by a raised to the power of negative 2, then b raised to the power of 2. Now, it's upon the candidate to recall that, the candidate needs to recall that when you are given indices, when you have a number a raised to the power of negative n, it is the same as a over a raised to the power of n. Now here there is no negative. When you are given a number 1 over a raised to the power of negative n, this one is the same as a raised to the power of n. That is just what the candidate is supposed to recall, and these ones will help us to simplify this particular expression. So on the numerator we will have 3a raised to the power of 2. Now since b is raised to the power of negative 3, it will go to the denominator to remove the negative. Now looking at the denominator, you have 2 raised to the power of negative 1, so it means it is 3 multiplied by a raised to the power of 2 multiplied by 2 raised to the power of 1. This one came to the numerator. Then a raised to the power of negative 2 comes to the numerator multiplied by a raised to the power of 2 over, we had b raised to the power of 3 in the numerator, so it becomes to the denominator, which becomes b raised to the power of 3 multiplied by b raised to the power of 2. Now going ahead, this one implies that the above can be simplified, so it is going to be 3 multiplied by 2, which gives us 6. Then a raised to the power of 2 multiplied by a raised to the power of 2. From laws of indices, we know that you have a number a raised to m multiplied by a raised to n, then this one is the same as a raised to m plus n. So here it means that it is a raised to the power of 2 plus multiplied by a raised to the power of 2, it becomes a raised to the power of 4, because it is 2 plus 2, over the denominator, which is b raised to the power of 3 multiplied by b raised to the power of 2. So it becomes b raised to the power of 3 plus 2, which becomes 5. So we have simplified, or you can express it as, or you can say it is 6 raised to the power of 4, then b raised to the power of negative 5. So in this manner you have simplified this particular expression. Now going ahead to question 3. Question 3 requires the candidate to calculate the area of a triangle, correct to 2 decimal places. It is very important. So you have been told that there is a triangle ABC such that AB is 11, BC is 8, and angle ABC is 53 degrees. So calculate the area of the triangle, correct to 2 decimal places. So since it is a triangle, the first thing for us to do is to draw a sketch of the triangle, how it will look like. We don't know the exact shape, but you know it is a triangle. Label it as A, B, C. Now, after you label it as ABC, we go ahead and give it the measurements. AB is 11 centimeter. BC, it is 8 centimeters. Then angle ABC is 53 degrees. So it's supposed to calculate the area of this particular triangle. Now, for us to find the area of a triangle, given two sides and an included angle, we use the formula a half multiplied by A multiplied by B, then the sine of the angle between the two. So from this one, we can see that this one is going to be a half multiplied by A from this side. You can say A is our side that has 11 centimeters, then multiplied by B, our side that has 8 centimeters, then the sine of the angle between the two sides, which is going to be 53 degrees. Now, a quick insertion of these values in the mathematical table. You can see that 2 goes here 1, 2 goes here 4. So you have 11 times 4 sine of 53 degrees. So insert these values in our calculator easily, and you find that our area is going to be 35.14. Our units are centimeters, so it becomes square centimeters, and it is in 2 decimal places according to the instructions that have been given. It's supposed to be in 2 decimal places. So that was question 3. Now we are going to look at question 4 and how it was supposed to be tackled. Question 4 and how a learner was supposed to tackle that particular question. Now, I look at question 4. It says that a cylindrical solid of radius 7 centimeters has a conical top of the same radius. The height of the cylindrical part of the solid is 17 centimeters, and the conical top has a vertical height of 9 centimeters. So you're supposed to calculate the volume of the solid. We've been told to use the value of pi as 22/7. Now, we can come up with a sketch to try to illustrate this information. So it is a cylindrical solid. So a solid that is cylindrical. So you just come up with a sketch. A cylindrical solid. A cylindrical solid, very good sketch. It has a radius of 7 centimeters. Then it has a height of 17 centimeters. Then it has a conical top. It has a conical top, a cone. And the conical top has the same radius as the cylinder of 7 centimeters, but it has a height. It has a height of 9 centimeters. So they want us to calculate the volume of this particular solid. Now, we have 2 figures here, two shapes. We have the cylindrical shape and the conical shape. So here, the learner is supposed to calculate the volume of the cylinder and the cone, then add the 2 volumes together. So we'll first of all calculate the volume of the cylinder. Volume of cylinder. Calculate the volume of the cylinder. Now, calculate the volume of the cylinder. We know it is given by pi r squared. Height, that is pi, radius squared, height. Now, in our case here, our pi is 22/7 multiplied by our radius, which is 7 times 7, then times the height, which is given as 17. Now, a quick inserting of these values in your calculator should give you the value as 2,618 cubic centimeters, because it is volume. We also calculate the volume of cone, the conical part that is on top. So the volume of the conical part is given by a third base area times height. A third base area, and the base area, it is a circular, so it is pi r squared. So this one becomes a third times base area, which is pi r squared, 22/7 times radius, then multiplied by the height, which is 9. You insert this one in your calculator and you end up with the 462 cubic centimeter. So the volume of the solid is the addition of the two volumes. So when you add the two volumes, you will have 2,618 plus 462, which is going to give us 3,080 cubic centimeters. 3,080 cubic centimeters. Now, next, it is question 5. It says 2 bulbs are set to light after every 40 seconds and 60 seconds respectively. If they light exactly at the same time initially, calculate the time, but the time in minutes they will take to light together again. Now, here they are testing on the knowledge of LCM. That means being able to find the LCM of 40 and 60, the two bulbs. So we'll try to find the LCM of 40 and 60. LCM of 40 and 60. Now, trying to find the LCM of these, we start with the least multiple, which is 2, and this one gives us 20, 30, followed by 2 again, gives us 10, 15, followed by 2 again, it gives us 5, this one remains to be 15, then followed by 3, this one is 5, this one is 5, then lastly you'll have 5, which gives us 1:1. So you can see that the LCM of these, it is 2 raised to 1, 2, 3. 3 multiplied by 3, then multiplied by 5. And this one gives us the LCM, which is going to be 120. And since they are seconds, so it is going to be 120 seconds. These two particular light bulbs, they will light together after 120 seconds. And since it is time in minutes, then it means divide this one by 60, and you have that they will light together after 2 minutes. Light together after 2 minutes. Now, looking at part B of the question, it requires us to find the number of times they will light together in the first half an hour. Now, if they are lighting together after 2 minutes, so in the first half an hour, it's going to be 30 minutes divided by 2 minutes. That's the time they will take to light. So the number of times, it means they're going to light 15 times. They're going to light 15 times. Now, let us look at question 6. Solve the equation. The cosine of 2 theta equals the sine of theta. Now, it's upon the learners to understand that cosine is only equal to the sine if these two angles are complementary. What do you mean by this? If you add these two angles, that is 2 theta and theta, you'll get 90 degrees. That means the two angles must be complementary. So in our case here, we know that 2 theta plus theta should give us 90 degrees. Now, the examiner requires answer in terms of pi radians, and we know that pi radian is equal to 180 degrees. So in our case here, 90 degrees is going to be basically, that is 90 divided by 180, which is going to be pi radians over 2, because pi radians is 180, so it means that 90 is going to be pi radians divided by 2. So when you add these two, you end up with 3 theta equals to pi radians over 2. Now you can multiply 2 on both sides, and you end up with pi radians equals to 6 theta. Divide both sides by 6, and you find that the value of theta is going to be pi radians over 6. Pi radians over 6. So we have left our answer in terms of pi radians over 6. Now we are going ahead to look at question 7. What was question 7 requiring the learners to do? Question 7 requires the learner to simplify and factorize the below expression. Now here the examiner is testing mostly on expansion, opening up the brackets. Then after expansion you simplify, then you come again and introduce the bracket. That means you factorize. So here we are going to expand these two. Now we are going to take 5, multiply what is in the second bracket, so it's going to be 5x multiplied in the second bracket, you have 4x plus 5y. Then take negative 4y multiplied by the second bracket, which is going to be 4x plus 5y, then minus 9xy. So when you open up the bracket, 5x multiplied by 4x is going to give us 20x squared. 5x multiplied by 5y is going to give us 25xy. Then minus 4y multiplied by 4x is going to give us 16xy. Then negative multiplied by positive is going to give us negative 4 times 5 is going to be 20, then y squared, then minus 9xy. Now we can see that this one is 25xy minus 16xy, which is going to give us 9xy. So you have these two. This is 20x squared, then plus 9xy, then minus 20y squared, then minus 9xy. So you have plus 9xy and minus 9xy. So this one they'll subtract out. So it means that you are going to end up with you are going to end up with 20x squared minus 20y squared. So going ahead, you can see that the common factor here is 20. So this is 20 into bracket x squared minus y squared. Now x squared minus y squared, this one is a difference of 2 squared. And you know that a difference of 2 squared says that a squared minus b squared is equal to a plus b, then a minus b. So in this case, here is going to be 20 into bracket x plus y into bracket x minus y. And that means we are done with that particular question. We have simplified and then we have factorized to get 20 into bracket x plus y, x minus y. Then next, talking about angle of depression and elevation. From a point on top of a cliff 40 meters high, two boats, A and B, are observed due east. So it's from a top of a cliff. So a diagram becomes very important, a sketch. It becomes very important in this particular question. So this is the top of the cliff. So you can call this one top of a cliff. They observe two boats. The angle of depression of boat A is 32 degrees and that of B is 52 degrees. The farther the boat, the less the angle of depression. The farther the boat, the less the angle of depression. The nearer the boat, the more the angle of depression. So it means that this particular boat is the farthest and this one is the nearest boat. So in this case, our nearest boat is going to be boat B and our farthest boat is going to be boat A. And that one gives us our sketch. So this one is going to be boat A and this one is going to be boat B. This is our cliff. Now, the farthest, the angle of depression is 32. So it also means that the angle of elevation is 32 degrees. The angle of depression is 52. So the angle of elevation is also 52 degrees. Now, determine the distance between the two boats correct to 2 decimal places, and the height of the cliff is 40 meters. The height of the cliff is 40 meters. So the first thing for us to do, we are supposed to find the distance all the way from the cliff to boat A. From the cliff to boat A. That is the distance Ca. From the cliff to the boat A. So using trigonometry, that is SOHCAHTOA, using SOHCAHTOA, we can see that we have an angle, we have the opposite side, and we are looking for the adjacent side. So opposite and adjacent, we are going to look at tangent. So we are going to look at the tangent of 32 degrees is going to be the opposite, which is 40, over the adjacent, which is the side CA. So the side CA is going to be 40 divided by the tangent of 32 degrees. So 40 divided by the tangent of 32 degrees, it is going to give us 64.013 meters. This one you can get it from the calculator directly. Then next, it is for us to look for the side CB. So looking at the side CB, we can see that we are going to look at the tangent also. so that the tangent of 52 degrees equals to the opposite, which is 40, over adjacent, which is CB, over adjacent, which is CB. So in this case, we find that the value of CB using our calculator is going to be 31.251 meters. 31.251 meters. Now, for us to find the distance between the two boats, that is BA, for us to find BA, we are going to take CA and subtract CB. So we're going to take the value of CA and subtract CB, which is going to be 64, our first value, 0.013 from it. You subtract CB, our second value, that is 31.251, which gives us 32.76 meters. The answer is supposed to be in 2 decimal places. Now, number 1 is about construction. You've been given a figure ABC, which is a cross-section of a certain solid A, B, C, D, E, then there is F. So line BE is one of the edges of the solid. So you're supposed to complete the sketch showing the hidden edges with broken lines. Show the edges that are hidden using broken lines. So here we are going to use a mathematical set. So first of all, we are going to measure the distance BE. I'm going to measure the distance BE. So the distance BE using your pair of compass is a bit hard. So you stretch up to the point where you have E. Then transfer the same measurement, the point where you have A, and make an arc. Transfer the point where you have C and make an arc. Why are we doing this? We know very well that from B to E, it is the same distance from A to a certain point, then from C to the next point. So we have to transfer the measurements on both sides. Then we transfer the measurements BC, because you know that from B to C the same as from E to D. So from B to C, same as from E to D. So where there's two arcs meet, this is point D. Then we know that the measurements from A to B is the same measurement from E to a certain point, that is going to be F. So from B to A, from B to A, then go to E and transfer the measurement like that. It is the same measurement from A to C. A to C, also from here all the way to, so you can see they are still meeting at the same place, even if you use point E or if you use point D, they're still meeting at the same place. Then they have said you complete the sketch showing hidden edges with broken lines. With broken lines, not continuous line. Showing hidden edges. The edges should be shown. Now, this side is supposed to be completed, but it is not hidden. So it has a complete line. But now the side EF is hidden, so we use broken lines. The side EF is hidden, so we use broken lines and have to be very exact. We use broken lines to show the side EF. The side FD is not hidden, so we'll use a continuous line on that. But now the side ED is hidden, so you have to show using broken lines. Now the side CD is not hidden, so use a continuous line like that. And that now means we have completed our figure, and it's labeled A, B, C, D, E, F. That is our figure, and that's how you're supposed to tackle that particular question 9. Now we are going to look at question 10. Now let us look at question 10 of the same. Now question 10 says that a salesman sells storybooks and textbooks. The cost price of a storybook is 600, while that of a textbook is 900. So the salesman is paid a commission of 10% on the cost of any book sold. One day, the salesman sold twice as many storybooks as textbooks. He earned a commission of 8,400. So determine the total number of storybooks sold. So in this case, we are going to let the number of storybooks, textbooks, to be X. Then the number of storybooks, since there were twice as many storybooks as textbooks, then becomes 2X. So from here, we can find the total cost. That is the total sales. So total sales is going to be the price of a storybook, which is 600, multiplied by how many storybooks do you have? 2X. Then plus the price of a textbook is 900, multiplied by how many textbooks did we have? X. So in this particular case, you'll have 1200X plus 900X, which now translates to 2,100. A quick inserting this one in your calculator, that is 1,200 plus 900, it is going to give us 2,100 as the value of X. So this is the total sales in shillings. So we find the commission this particular person earned. Commission. So under commission of 10%, so it is 10 over 100 of the total sales, which is 2100 X shillings. So as quick spot check and cancellation of this one, you find that the commission here is going to be 210X. But now this commission is equivalent to 8,400. So divide both sides by 210. So you divide here by 210, also divide here by 210, and find that the value of X, if you put it or insert it into your calculator, is going to be 40. So it means that the textbooks are going to be 40 and our storybooks are going to be 80. So for us to find the number of storybooks, which is 2X, you are going to take 40 multiplied by 2, which gives us 80 storybooks that were sold by this particular salesman. Now we are going to look at question 11. The question goes, the equation of a curve is given by y equals to x squared. So using the trapezium rule with 4 strips. Estimate the area enclosed by the curve y equals to x squared. The lines x equals to 1, x equals to 5, and the x-axis. Now, looking at this particular question, is imperative of the learner to remember the trapezoidal rule, which says that for us to find the area using the trapezoidal rule is going to be a half the value of height, that is the first ordinate, which is y1, then the last ordinate, which is yn, and close, plus 2, that is the second ordinate, plus the third ordinate, plus all the ordinates up to y equals to n minus 1. This is what we call the trapezoidal rule. Can be found easily from our mathematical table. Now, in this particular place, we start to find the value of height. So h is going to be 5 minus 1, because it is coming all the way from x equals to 5, and that is x equals to 1 up to x equals to 5, then divided by the number of stripes, which are 4 stripes. And this one gives us the value of h as 1. Now, we look for the values of y1, y2, y3, and y4. So, looking at the value of x and the value of y. Now, when x equals to 1, because it is starting at 1, what's the value of y? That means when you insert in y equals to x squared. When x equals to 1, the value of y also equals to 1. When x equals to 2, it means that the value of y equals to 4. When x equals to 3, the value of y is 9. When x equals to 4, the value of y equals to 16. And when x equals to 5, that is where we are ending up x equals to 5. And the value of y is 25. So inserting all this information in our trapezoidal rule, because we know that this one is now y1, this is y2, y3, y4, then y5. So it means that the area is going to be a half multiplied by height, or h, which is that is the width of the trapeziums. Then this one is going to be multiplied by, into bracket, y1 plus yn, that is the last length, that is 1 plus 25, that is 1 plus 25, then plus 2, then addition of the remaining length, that is y2, y3, and y4, that is 4 plus 9 plus 16, and close all of them, and you find that half of 1 is just a half. Half of 1 is just a half. When you carry out what is here, that is 26 plus, that is 4 plus 9 gives us 13, 13 plus 16, that one gives us 29, 29 times 2 gives us 58, then 58 plus 26 gives us 84, and this one gives us 42 square units, because the units have not been specified, so it becomes 42 square units. That's how we're supposed to do question 11. Now let us look at question 12. Question 12 is on vectors, mainly vectors 1. Now for us to handle question 12, we need to understand on magnitude and how vectors move. So you've been given that this is vector A. What we have here is vector A. It is moving from this point out to this point. The horizontal displacement, there are 2 squares. The vertical displacement, there are 3 squares. Then vector B, horizontal displacement, it is just 1 square. Then there is vector C on this particular place. Horizontal, there are 2. Vertical, there are also 2, which means there are 2 on both ends. So you've been told on the following grid, that is the grid that has been given below here, present the addition or the resultant vector that you get when you add A and B. When you add A and B. Now, I want us to look at it this way. When you take vector A, we have seen that it has a horizontal displacement of 2 squares and a vertical displacement of 3 squares. So part A that you want to tackle, the vertical displacement, it is 3 squares. So it have 1, so we start here, it is 1, 2, 3. And the horizontal, it is 1, 2, somewhere here. So it means that this vector A is represented by this. This is vector A. Then vector B is represented by, let us see, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. It is 2 squares. So it is represented by 2 squares. So there is 1 square, then the second square. That is vector B. Vector B. So addition of vector A and B will give us vector AB. Going to give us vector AB. How do we move from A here? AB will give us this vector AB here, which is going to be A plus B. So that is our resultant vector A plus B. Part B requires to find vector A plus B, then that vector A plus B, we add vector C, vector A plus B plus vector C. Now, we found here vector AB, which means it has a horizontal displacement of 1, 2, 3, 4. It has a horizontal displacement of 4. Then it has a vertical displacement of, that is 1, 2, 3. That is vector AB. So it has a vertical displacement of, so we can start from here. It has 1, 2, 3. That is our vertical displacement. Then it has horizontal of 1, 2, 3, 4. It has horizontal of 1, 2, 3, 4 up to here. So this one here is going to be our vector A plus B. A plus B. Now, it is then plus C. Now, we established up here that our C, it has a horizontal of 2, horizontal of 2 and vertical of 2. So, when you transfer it here, it has a vertical of 2, then horizontal of 2. It becomes here. So, this one is going to be our vector C, horizontal of 2 and vertical of 2, like that. So this becomes our vector C. So our vector A plus B plus C is going to be A plus B plus C, which is going to be this particular vector here. So this is our vector A plus B into bracket plus C. We denote it using vectors like that. So that's how that particular question 12 was supposed to be handled. It was having a maximum of 4 marks. Now let us look at our next question, which is question 13. Question 13, you've been given a matrix, so this one is on matrices. You've been given a matrix P having the elements 4, 2, negative 7, 1, negative 1. Another matrix Q having the elements negative 1, 5, 6, negative 3. Then you are told that R is 2 OP. That is 2 OP inverse plus Q. So determine the matrix R. They want us to determine the matrix R. Now, how do we tackle this particular sum? Now, first of all, there is inverse of P. So for us to find the inverse of P, the first thing for us to do is to find the determinant. So we multiply the elements in the primary diagonal or the main diagonal, subtract the elements in the secondary or the other diagonal. So in this case, it is for us to find the determinant is going to be 4 multiplied by negative 1. Then for it you subtract negative 7 multiplied by 2 into brackets. So this one gives us negative 4. From this one you subtract negative 14, which gives us negative 4 plus 14, which is 10. So our determinant is 10. Now, so the inverse, that is the inverse of P, is going to be interchange the elements in the primary diagonal. So that is negative 1, 4. Then negate the elements in the secondary. So when you negate positive 2, it becomes negative 2. When you negate negative 7, it becomes positive 7. Then this one, the way it is here, you divide with the determinant, which is 10. All of them, you divide with the determinant, which is 10. Now, we go ahead now and look for the value of, we're going to look for the value of R. So R is going to be 2, is going to be 20, going to be 20 inverse, which is going to be our inverse here. Our inverse is negative 1. That's the way you can see it. Negative 2, 7, 4, all of it divided by 10. Then plus Q. Our Q, from here you can see it is negative 1, 5, 6, negative 3. So you can see that 10 goes here once and 10 will go here twice. So when you open up the matrix, that is means you multiply 2 with every element inside here, you'll have negative 2, that is 2 times negative 1, 2 times negative 4, you have negative 4, then 2 times 7, you have 14, then 2 times 4, you have 8. So this one, you are adding Q. In our case here, Q is negative 1, 5, 6, negative 3. So every element is added to the next element in the next matrix depending on the position. So it's going to be negative 2 plus negative 1 is going to give us negative 3. Then negative 4 plus 5 is going to give us 1. Then 14 plus 6 is going to give us 20. then 8 plus negative 3, so that is 8 minus 3, which is going to give us 5. And this one becomes our final answer for this particular question. Looking at next question is more on statistics. That is question 14. It is tackling more on statistics. So you've been told that in a sub-county of children, the number of children per family was recorded from 30 families. So you have 30 families from which the number of children were recorded. Then the number was placed in a table as shown. So you are supposed to represent the data in a frequency distribution table. Represent this data in a frequency distribution table. So they have said is the number of children and the number of families. So we are first of all going to represent all this information in a frequency distribution table. We can see that we have families that have 2 children, have families that have 0, have those ones that have 6, have those ones that have 7. The highest number of children is 7, the lowest one is 0. So we start first of all with the number of children. So we draw our table very neatly. Draw a table very neatly. So here I will present number of children, then number of families, So 0 children, you can see it is only 1. So this one, they come from 1 family. We have families that have 1 child. And those are 1, 2, 3 families. We have families that have 2 children. Have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 families. We have those families that have 3 children. How many are they from here? We have 1, 2, 3, 4. So we are just counting 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 families. Then have those families that have 4 children. How many are they? Have 1, 2, 3 families. Then have those families that have 5 children. Have those families that have 5 children. There is 1 family. That's C. There is 2 families. Then have those families that have 6 children. Those families that have 6 children. There is 1 family here. There is the next family here. So there are 2 families. Then have the last one, families that have 7 children, a highest value of 7. Families that have 7 children, I can see it is the only 1 family, the one that we circled. So you also try and add the number of families to see that there are 20, because this one is 4, 12, 22, 25, 27, 29, 30. So this one gives us 30. So that one is just to make sure that there are 30 families. Don't have any extra or any less. Now, we are supposed to get the mean number of children per family. The mean number of children per family. So for us to find the mean, that is the mean. The mean, you will take the addition of all of these values divided by 30. The addition of all these values divided by 30. Or take number of children times number of family, that is 0 times 1 plus 1 times 3 plus 2 times 8 plus 3 times 10 plus 4 times 3 plus 5 times 2 plus 6 times 2, then plus 7 times 1. So this one will give us the total of all these elements inside here. So after you find the total, you are going to divide it with 30. After you find the total, you divide it with 30. So the total of all these one, using your calculator, should give us 90 divided by how many families? 30 families. And this one should give us an average of 3 children. That should give us an average of 3 children per family. Now, we go ahead and look at question 15. We are almost doing almost through with section 1 of paper 1. Now, looking at question 15, we have the equation of a curve is given by y equals to 3x squared minus 2x. So, determine the equation of a normal to the curve at x equals to 2. Now, is the imperative of learners to know that when you are given a curve, let's say, just an example, the equation of this curve is y is equals to 3x squared minus 2x. That is the equation of that particular curve, 3x squared minus 2x. So the gradient of this curve is the same as the gradient of a tangent at that particular point. Let's say a point here. This one is the tangent. That is the tangent. So the gradient of this curve at this point is the same as the gradient of the tangent at that particular point. Then you have the normal. The normal meets the tangent at 90 degree at right angle. So it means that if you take the gradient of the normal multiplied by the gradient of the curve or tangent at that particular point should give us -1. It should give us -1. So they want us to determine the equation of a normal to the curve at x equals to 2 at that particular place. So given the equation is y equals to 3x squared minus 2x, the first thing for us to do is to find the value of y at that particular place. So at x equals to 2, what is the value of y? Value of y equals to 3x squared. So it is 2 squared minus 2x. And this one gives us 8. So the value of x is 8. Now, so it means that our point it is 2, 8. That is our point where the tangent, the curve meets the normal. Now, we need to find the gradient of this curve. Now, the gradient function, we are going to differentiate this particular. So you find dy dx. That is, differentiate the equation y is equals to 3x squared minus 2x with respect to x, and dy dx in this case is going to give us 6x minus 2. So at x equals to 2, it means that the value of the gradient at x equals to 2 is going to be what? So the value of the gradient is going to be 6 into bracket 2 minus 2. And this one gives us 10. So the gradient of this particular curve at the point x equals to 2 is 10. Now, next, it is for us to find the gradient of the normal. And we know very well that m1 multiplied by m2 is going to be negative 1. So the gradient of the normal, which is m2, is going to be negative 1 over 10. Going to be negative 1 over 10. So the equation at that particular point. So the equation is going to be y minus 8, make you the point is 8 over x minus 2. That is change in y over change in x should give us the gradient, which is negative 1 over 10. When you cross multiply these two, you end up with 10y, end up with 10y minus 80 equals to negative x plus 2. So many with 10y equals to negative x. Add 80 on both sides. If you add 80 on both sides, it means that you have equals to negative x, then plus 82 here. That is 80 close to this side becomes plus 80 times 82. Divide both sides by 10, and you find that y equals to negative x over 10, then plus, if you simplify this one, 2 here, 41, 2 here, 5, 41 over 5. And this is the equation of the normal to that particular curve. Question 16, you are provided with two simultaneous equations that you have to solve graphically. Two simultaneous equations that have to be solved graphically. So you have been given the equation y equals to 4 over 3x, then plus 2. Then the next one, 3y equals to x minus 3. So you have to solve it graphically. Now, solving it graphically, how do we go about it? So, here, we are first of all going to look for plotting points for these two curves. So we start with the first one. Look for its plotting points. Value of x and value of y. And you will choose plotting points in such a way that they do not confuse us. 3 plotting points are ideal. So if the value of x is 0, then it means that the value of y at this particular place is going to be 2, because here is going to be 0 plus 2. Now, if the value of x is 3, I said you choose ideal points, x is 3, then it means the value is going to be 4 plus 2, which gives us 6. If the value of this particular x is going to be 6, why do we choose 6? Depending on the scale that you've been given here, there is 6 that can be plotted. And it means this is going to be 4 times 2, which is going to be 8, and 8 plus 2 gives us 10. Then you look for the plotting points of 3y equals to x minus 3. So it means that y equals to a third x minus 1. Y equals to a third x minus 1. So if we look for the plotting points for the value of x and the value of y. So if the value of x is 0 here, then it means the value of y is negative 1. If the value of x is 3, so this one becomes 1. So 1 minus 1 becomes 0. And if the value of x now becomes 2, not 2 will not give us a good value, let's say 6. The value of x gives us 6. So if this one is 6, then this one is 2. 2 minus 1 becomes 1. So we are going to use these points to plot. We are going to use these points to plot. So we start with the first one line. 0, 2, 0, 2. Then 3, 6, 3, 6 at this particular point. Then have 6, 10, which you don't have, but you can use these 2 points to have a very straight line. And you're supposed to do it using a pencil. So this line is y equals to 4 over 3 x plus 2. Then we do the second line. 0, negative 1, 0, negative 1 at that particular point. Then 3, 0, 3, 0 that particular point. Then 6, 1, 6, 1 at this particular point. Then we draw the line using a very straight ruler. Like that. And this one, label it 3y equals to x minus 3. So where these two lines meet at this particular point here, where they are meeting, that is the solution, this simultaneous equation. So the value of x is going to be negative, so at this particular place the value of x is going to be negative 3, and the value of y here is going to be negative 2. So we have used graphical methods to solve simultaneous equations. So thank you for staying tuned to this particular lesson. You can follow me on YouTube, follow me on Facebook. My handle name, it is at Kcse Online Math. If you search Kcse Online Math, if you search on Facebook and YouTube, you'll find me. Thank you very much.